Hi, I'm Mark Von Calgary for the Great Lakes Tour. We're here today at Hidden Lake with head professional George Tidd and Great Lakes Tour President Dennis Hendershot. How are you today, guys?
Wonderful.
Doing good.
Great. Thanks very much for being with us. Nice to see you too, and George, it's a pleasure as always. We're here today to talk about the Southern Ontario Open, which was formerly known as the Ontario Open, and the Great Lakes Tour is trying to revamp that and bring it back into effect. And Dennis, I was wondering if you might be able to give us a little bit of the background. I know the tournament dates back to 1923, I have here, and there has been some famed winners such as Nick Westlock and George Knudsen, both five-time winners, Mo Norman, of course, and the GLT's own Martin Price was the last winner in 1996 before I believe it was taken over by the Canadian Tour for a little while.
Yeah, we might have to do a little bit more research on that to find out the actual dates and transition and who owned and who did what. But yeah, I mean, a rich history of players from the province and outside of the province that have won this event. And like you said, Martin Price, a guy that's won numerous times playing our regional developmental tour. So, you know, a great event, and it's been missing for quite some time now, and you know, we'd really like to see an event of that stature back in the community, in the province, for elite amateurs and the professionals to look forward to playing the end of the season.
Right. Dennis, you've been involved with the Great Lakes Tour now for 13 years. Can you give us a little idea of how many events have you run within those 13 years, would you figure by now?
Well, Karen and I founded the Great Lakes in 2001, I believe it was. It might have been 2000, actually, the premise behind the tour. And since that time, we've also founded a national amateur series, the Golftown National Amateur Series. And I think we've been involved with more than 500 events.
Not only that, I know you've graduated some great golfers onto much bigger tours and a lot of success, which has been phenomenal.
You know, we've certainly seen the likes of David Hearn, Rod Spittle, just to name a couple guys off the top. I mean, we've seen over 4,000 different players just through our Great Lakes series of events over the years. And again, you know, it's exciting to have the opportunity to bring an event of this stature back to the province.
Yeah, it absolutely is. George, how's your golf game?
I'm hitting it long and straight.
Is that right? Good to hear. George, you've been in the golf business for 43 years. How excited are you to host the Southern Ontario Open here at Hidden Lake?
Oh, we're thrilled. We're thrilled to host the new course here at Hidden Lake. We've hosted the qualifier for the Canadian Open.
Yes.
I think 14 times. We've hosted the tour school for the Canadian Tour. And I think we've got a pretty good venue for hosting the Southern Ontario Open. I remember years ago, as a young fellow, I didn't play in the first one at 23. I think my first Ontario Open was 1976. And coincidentally, this golf club used to be called Lake Meadad. Okay. And the last year it was operated as Lake Meadad. The regional qualifier was here, and I qualified to play the Open at Mount Hope.
Is that right?
I think Knudsen won it that year, but
what? I'm going to check my notes. And you were absolutely right. You did win it at Mount Hope.
Was it? Yeah.
Yes, it was. That was his last time that he won it. His fifth time.
Well, I can certainly attest to the championship level of the golf course. I mean, I have competed here a few times myself in the Open qualifier, and I've seen when they get the rough up, and you know, we've played it in, well, actually on the old course as well.
Yes,
we've had it in championship shape, and the greens, the undulation on the new course can test anybody's game for sure. So I know I have fond memories. I missed playing in the Canadian Open at Hamilton one year by a shot, and I remember telling my caddy coming down the last three, I think we were about 5 under, and he said, "We're going to the Open," and sure enough, bogey, you know. And then I sat around all day and just to miss by a shot. But yeah, I mean, a great venue. I think it's the location is absolutely ideal as well.
Well, it's certainly a great event. I know there's several stops here with the Great Lakes Tour, and the guys are always talking about the greens, especially. The greens they're excellent every time that we come here, and you guys do a great job, George.
Well, thank you for that.
With that being said, Dennis, could you give us an idea as to who is going to be able to play, how they're going to be able to play? Is there exemptions? Can you give us an idea of how that's going to work this year?
Sure. I'd certainly love to. I mean, that's why we're sitting here discussing it. I'd also like to make mention as to the reasoning behind why we've decided to call it the Southern Ontario Open, and part of that reason is with some of the players that I've had on our committee and discussing the rich history of the Ontario Open was to not take anything away from that event and to give it its credit due. It was a spectacular event, and I think when you're trying to revamp something that has such a rich history like that, I think you have to give it a little credit and step back and say, you know what, I'm not going to call this the Ontario Open because I don't know if that's fitting. So this is certainly a new event, so to speak, and hopefully it has an opportunity to gain momentum, to be accepted within the players, and something they look forward to. I think the timing of the year, being in September, late August, September, we're going to have some of the best amateurs from the province compete. And with that being said, everybody that is able to the eligibility to participate, you have to be an Ontario resident. So we've granted some exemptions to GAO events, championships like the Ontario Amateur, the Match Play, the Mid-Am. We've even reached out and done a few little things with some of the stronger regional amateur series as well, to afford the opportunity to bypass the Monday qualifier. And for those players that want to have an opportunity to participate, we are going to have a Monday qualifier here 2 weeks prior to the event, where 52 spots will be available of the 156 player field. 26 amateurs, 26 professionals. So, a great opportunity for everybody to come out and try to compete and participate in the Southern Ontario Open.
Yep.
And then from the professional side, obviously the Great Lakes Tour as a mainstay, providing 50 spots from the Order of Merit up to a specific date, and as well as a new partnership that we have with the Ontario PGA. We're going to grant another 30 spots as well there. So, great opportunity.
It sounds like you're doing everything to reestablish this tournament and make it steadfast and, like you said, gain some momentum so that it could be around for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great to have some qualifications, some eligibility process there to make people realize that this event's going to garner some attention as far as some really good players are going to be here competing, as well as the Canadian Tour guys. We do have exemptions up for them as long as they're Ontario-based residents. Not so that all the tour players converge, another opportunity for them to compete.
Sure.
We do want this to be a provincial championship, and with that being said, you must be an Ontario resident.
I think that's certainly a great idea to have this only for Ontario residents, so that it establishes opportunity for Ontario players and essentially doesn't have playing professionals from across Canada and other provinces, other country, just to be able to come in as some kind of a potential money grab, or just to be able to get into an event.
Well, we always like to provide opportunity. We've never discluded anybody to come participate in the Great Lakes events as well, but I just felt that this event, a great opportunity to bring a minimum number of amateurs in to compete with some of the best professionals in the province.
And Dennis, I understand the event is going to run from August 30th until September 1st.
Correct.
Very good. Well, on that note, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you both for your time. And I am, again, Mark von Kalkert for the Great Lakes Tour. If you are available from August 30th to September 1st, come out to Hidden Lake, because you will see some outstanding golf from the professional level through the rank amateur level, and it will be a lot of enjoyment. Thank you very much.